Shalom, 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 family. How grateful I am for you to be here. Thank you for clicking on the video and even watching this video. Now, as you can see, we have a brand new product alert, Yes. We would like to welcome Delight Solve to the product list. As you guys can see, this product has many good benefits and many good products inside of it that can be of benefit towards you. Now, how can this product help you? If you're someone dealing with psoriasis pain, back or knee pain, or any type of joint pain anywhere in your body, or any type of rashes, or any type of things that you don't want to talk about in public, but you know what it is, any type of things like that, I'm pretty sure Delight Solve will be a delight to your life. Now, how can you get this product, you might ask? Simple as one thing. Click the description link under this video and you can get this product as well as many of our other products. Thank you and shalom.
Shalom, family. All right, so we're just going to make this quick, easy brownie for you right now because I know there's a lot going on around us, but sometimes you just need to have a good comfort in some of the nice delights that we have. We're taking on a little tour right now of what we have in this ingredients list for this recipe. We have the coconut oil, flour, salt, standard pantry items that you should have around the household. I do have an added addition of some chickpea flour. If you don't have it, don't stress. You don't necessarily need to use it. It's just a nice little additional binder for the recipe. We do use either flaxseed egg or you can use aquafaba, which is chickpea water. Of course, standard chocolate for you. You'll need about 6 to 10 ounces depending on your desire of how chocolatey you want it, but we just started out with a little bit of dark chocolate. About 60 to 78% is a really good quality to use for this. You will be diluting it just a little bit with some sugar and flour, so you want to make sure that that flavor really carries through. So I'm just chopping up the chocolate. Excuse me for chuckling and stuttering right there. But anyway, you'll get into your chocolate. You want it roughly chopped. It doesn't have to be uniform. I love little shards of chocolate in the final product because who likes to bite into a nice warm gooey brownie and just have a nice chunk, a hearty chunk of chocolate in their bite. But anyway, I have this additional chocolate that we got from Costco. It was just a little bit left over, so I'm doing a rough chop with that. Notice that I am tucking my thumb under my hand because especially when getting through things that are a little bit more complicated to chop through, I don't want to have any casualties. Very, 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 very important. Be safe always. So now that we've got our chocolate chopped up, I'm actually going to put that to the side. This is again why I love this chocolate from Costco. I'm not endorsing anything, but they do have, like, if you can find anything with chunks or anything additional just to give some added pleasures to that. But regular chocolate works too. So next we're going to get into browning our walnuts. And this is a nice little step that I find very important to the recipe because it just, if you like nuts in your brownies, it really adds another depth of flavor. We're going to toast these in the coconut oil, and that is also going to be followed up as our fat in this brownie. So just give it a nice, not uniform of course, but just a rough chop. Once you have your stove heated up to about medium heat, medium to medium high heat, you'll want to scoop about a cup of coconut oil into the pan. Now, this is not going to all be used in the recipe, but I prefer to have, like, when it's coming from cold and then it needs to be melted down, just having a little bit extra because you can use it in other recipes. It's like a brown butter. Brown butter, and it adds again that depth of flavor, nice nutty toasty flavor. So we scoop our chopped walnuts into the coconut oil, and essentially we're just going to wait. So you'll see here as we get everything together, this is also going to be a good time after you are letting this kind of simmer down to get some of your other items in order for the remainder of the recipe. But what I absolutely love about this is it just releases a really nice aroma into the kitchen. It kind of has like a reminiscent smell of popcorn, if that sounds odd enough, but it's really good. And always remember to smile. So as you get into it and just gently start to stir it around. You don't want to let it sit for too terribly long because you don't want any like hot spots in the pan. I don't know if you have like an inconsistent stove like I might, but yeah, you'll start to see the changes in the color very gradually. You can see a little bit of the tanness that comes through here, and then we'll follow up with some browning, and this is where the real magic happens. So as I pull some of the walnuts back, you can actually see that darkening of the coconut oil itself, and that's where all of the flavor has been infused in, and it's absolute love. Too excited. So we've been sauteing our walnuts for about 5 minutes on medium-high heat. Again, just letting this cool down a little bit after you've removed it from the heat. And I'm going to transfer it over to a glass so that I can put that into our measuring cup a little bit easier than pouring directly from the pan when the time is needed. And it does look absolutely beautiful. Super excited to use that. And those nuts will be going in as well. So now we have our chocolate, and I have halved about the amount that we chopped up. I just put that in a microwave safe bowl or in a glass bowl. You can put that on a double boiler on the stove, or you can blast it in the microwave if you don't want to use all that time. About 30-second increments until it is smooth and velvety and ready to use. I moved the chocolate over to another cup, but I don't like to waste chocolate, so I'm just gonna get into my 1.5 cups of brown sugar, and then I made 2 tablespoons of flaxseed egg. So what you do with this is it's 2 tablespoons of flaxseed plus 6 tablespoons of water. I actually used a little bit of water and aquafaba as my liquid to absorb in it because I just like a lighter texture, more eggy. But I added an additional 1 tablespoon of just straight up aquafaba, which is chickpea water. Let me not use the fancy word for that, but chickpea water. It really helps to just kind of keep it a little bit more cakey instead of just having a straight up fudge, but I like fudgy brownies, so I don't want it too moist. So also, if you happen to not have any chickpeas in your pantry, or if you don't have any flaxseed, you can use a mashed banana as an egg substitute. This recipe calls for about 2 egg substitutes, or 2 eggs technically, so you can just easily substitute that in, not a problem. So this is where we're going to add in 1/2 cup of our coconut oil, and you can clearly see that I used a little bit more than a 1/2 cup. I eyeballed it. I'm guilty as charged, but yeah, just pull out your measuring cup properly and put only a 1/2 cup in there. And you can add your chocolate in at this point as well. It's just going to make it a little bit easier to all emulsify together. So you can mix it in 2 separate batches, but that does add a little bit more effort to your forearms. So be prepared with a montage. It's like, but anyway, as you start to see all of it come together, that's when you're really going to start realizing just how much you are making a fabulous brownie batter right here. And again, you can take this to any of the events that we will soon be hoping to have all over again. And if not, you can always indulge in this with your family. Not a problem. You're just adding in the melted chocolate right here, and then you're going to give it a quick mix again. And it's really good to mix up all of your wet batter thoroughly before you get to the process of having to add in your flour, because of course we don't want tough brownies. So as you see that all starting to come together, it should have nice thick ribbons streaming from your whisk, and then that is perfect time to add in your dry ingredients. So to a sifter, you're going to add 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour and a 1/2 cup of chickpea flour. And a really good tip with this is that when you're measuring out your flour, fluff it up with the spoon first and then pour it into the measuring cup instead of using the measuring cup to scoop it out. But then you'll add an additional 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then you'll give that a little sifting through, just making sure you're getting out all those lumps and any undesirable textures. But what will come together is just a batter that'll be a lot easier to thoroughly mix without over mixing. Next, you'll dash in a little bit of salt just to balance out the sweetness of that chocolate and the sugar. I added an additional amount of cinnamon and just give that a thorough mixing through. Love speeding. So the good thing as well is that this recipe is very forgiving. You will want to add your own vanilla, and that will be about 2 teaspoons of vanilla, roughly. I just didn't catch that on film, but 2 teaspoons of that. So lick your whisk, but not before actually mixing it. So after you folded all of your ingredients together, and again, I don't waste anything. Good thing this is eggless because I will be coming back for that whisk. But just go ahead and fold everything into each other. And when you have the consistency of a thick but all one color homogeneous batter, that's when you know you can stop. Don't overmix it because then you'll start to get a little bit of that oil baby effect. So add in your nuts. Again, this is where me not using the proper measurement of oil because I got a little bit extra. So now I'm going to dump in the chocolate and the walnuts, fold that in gently just to make sure that it all is thoroughly put through all of the brownie batter. And then we're going to take our little beloved oil baby over to the pan. Now, you can use either a 9x2 pan, but right here I have an 11x7. If you use a smaller pan, it's just going to be a thicker brownie, but either works perfectly. So you dumped it into the pan, and then I'm just going to spread that out evenly. I like to use parchment paper, less mess, and it guarantees that there's going to be no sticking. I don't like those types of issues, so just easier safe than sorry. And spread that all to the corners, and we had a last little hurrah of taking the leftover walnuts that were in the pan, and then we found some oatmeal mixture that we're not really going to eat it on its own, but we mixed it into the oil as well, and we made like a little streusel topping. Last minute thought, don't have to do it, not required, but if you get around to doing it, oh my gosh, this was awesome. We praise the Most High for that inspiration, because any way that I can be a little bit more indulgent, I might, in moderation, of course. So we pat that in so it doesn't fall off and be too crumbly after the baking process. But we've already got in our preheated oven at 350, and you're going to pop this into the oven for about 30 minutes. Fight the temptation to open the oven prematurely, but look at how beautiful she came out after all of this was said and done. Completely worth the wait and the effort. And just let it cool. It'll still be hot when you cut into it, or it'll still be warm, but let it cool so that the steam can properly settle and set out of the brownie itself, and it doesn't just completely deflate. But look at that brownie. It will make about 20 brownie slices, and I like them a little bit thinner so I can feel like I can indulge, but look at her. Amazing. All praises, and I hope that you get to enjoy this brownie. Much love, family. Shalom.